A handshake that will infuriate Russia. President Volodymyr Zelensky hosted the leader of NATO, Jens Stoltenberg, for a meeting in Kiev. And after more than a year of war, Stoltenberg carried a message that Ukraine can eventually find a place in the Western military alliance. It's not the first time Stoltenberg has said this kind of thing, but the symbolism of him saying it in Kiev is powerful. The Kremlin was quick to respond, saying that Ukraine's shift towards NATO was one of the reasons why Russia began what it calls its special operation in the first place.
In the latest development in the Russian invasion of Ukraine, a major blunder was made by the Putin-led army. Apparently, a Russian warplane accidentally fired a weapon into the city of Belgorod near Ukraine. Reports cited the defense ministry and revealed that the unintentional firing caused an explosion and damaged buildings. Local authorities did not say what caused the blast, but the Russian Defense Ministry released a statement saying that a fighter aircraft had lost ammunition over Belgorod.
In the early hours of this morning, police at Plesisla were informed of gunshots emanating from Unit 14 in Mbali. When they attended to the scene, they found that 10 members of one family were shot and fatally wounded in one of the homes. It's believed that 2 unknown gunmen entered the home and opened fire on the family members, fatally wounding 10 people. 7 of them are females and 3 are males.
At least 78 people are dead in Yemen after being trampled at an event to distribute financial aid. Dozens of people were also injured in the Wednesday evening tragedy in the capital of Sana'a. Witnesses say Houthi rebel officials fired gunshots in an attempt at crowd control, apparently striking an electrical wire and causing an explosion. They say a panic ensued. People began stampeding, and victims were subsequently crushed. Officials say 2 event organizers have been detained.
Researchers have discovered what they say are dozens of unmarked graves at a former residential school. They were located on or near St. Augustine's Residential School and on the Sunshine Coast. These areas were searched under the guidance and direction of survivors.
The First Nations says the investigation took several years involving survivors' documents, historical events, and ground-penetrating radar, looking at the former grounds and surrounding areas of the St. Augustine Residential School, which operated from 1904 to 1975. It says the findings indicate shallow graves, only large enough for young bodies to lie in a fetal position.
But we do begin tonight with the breaking news late today. Lawyers for Alec Baldwin say the charges against him will be dropped. The involuntary manslaughter charges after that deadly accident on a movie set. Now, it comes just 2 weeks before the trial was set to begin, the case being prosecuted in New Mexico, where, of course, that shooting took place. Baldwin was charged after the weapon he was rehearsing with fired a round, killing cinematographer Helena Hutchins. Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, the armorer in charge of weapons on the set, was also charged with involuntary manslaughter.
A warm meeting in Havana of Cold War allies. Cuba is the last stop on Sergei Lavrov's tour of the Americas, a tour that won't be taking in the USA. The Russian foreign minister gave his hosts a frank appraisal of his country's attitude to Washington, laying a wreath to Jose Marti, a hero of the country's independence struggle. Lavrov condemned American sanctions on Cuba.
Elon Musk's moment in history. The world's largest rocket roared into the skies over the Gulf of Mexico. Within 3 minutes, Starship's first test flight took a turn for the worse. Again and again, the 120-metre unmanned rocket spiralled. The booster hadn't separated to allow the rocket into orbit. Then, the team who built it blew it all up. The 5,000-tonne machine obliterated.